for it to say it's starting.
Thinking
And
about it.
hopefully we can hit 27 minutes today and not 28, huh?
Yes, that's our goal.
Okay, I see it. Good morning, Sheila. How are you doing today?
Hi, Wayne. I'm really good. How about yourself today?
I'm doing well, thank you. Golly, the sun is trying to creep out, so I see we're having partly sunny today.
Well, we had, it said 50 degrees, but with wind chill, it feels, no, 51 degrees, but with wind chill, it feels like 50 degrees. So
Ah,
it's so hard to decide what to wear anymore.
I know. And welcome everyone to 27 Minutes with Sheila and Wayne, where we talk about skills and verbs that have been learned, forgotten, misused, and or totally abandoned as we are attempting to change the world one verb at a time. Sheila, would you tell us what our verb is today?
Wayne, our verb today is to hold, H-O-L-D, and a couple brief definitions I got are to grasp, carry, or support with one's hands, to keep or detain someone or something, and to have in the mind or express as a judgment to wait. Now, that makes no sense to me, and I think it's my bad handwriting. So what did you come up with, Wayne?
I, I had a lot more too. And this I found this word to be such an interesting word.
Me too.
I went into the research thinking, hold, okay, golly, what can I come up with hold possibly?
Mhm, mhm.
And as I looked, I found it to be one of those utility verbs. And I say
Yes.
utility because it is utilized in all kinds
Oh
of.
my goodness. Just as we were preparing to start recording this conversation, you said hold something, and I said hold something, and they had opposite meanings, but it was the same saying based on the context of what we were. And I thought, how there must be 20 definitions of this verb.
Okay, well, let me give you about seven more.
Oh, okay, great. Let's hear it.
I have to have possession or of to have possession of or ownership or have it at one's disposal,
Okay.
to have as a privilege or position of responsibility,
Oh, okay.
to keep under restraint,
Mm-hmm.
to prevent from one oh, I'm sorry, to prevent from some action, hold your fire, so to
Ah,
speak,
yes. Yeah.
to keep back from use, reserve a room or a table like we call and make
Mm-hmm.
reservations for a restaurant,
Right.
to delay temporarily use of, meaning hold my calls because
Hold your mail.
I'm going to be sleeping for a while.
Oh, hold your
Hold my
yeah, right. Right.
to make liable or accountable or
Mm-hmm.
bound to an obligation,
Mm-hmm.
to have a particular position in a competition,
Yes.
like holding the world record,
Right.
and to have something such as an election or a meeting.
Oh, to hold a meeting.
To
Sure.
hold a meeting, to hold an election. Yes.
Right.
And there's others, but I stopped there because I thought, wow, this is fraught with all kinds of definitions.
Yes.
We're going to do 27 minutes of just definitions and
I
nothing else.
know. Isn't that exciting? I got a
So,
lot of trivia things though, because I wanted to lighten it up a little bit too.
oh, okay. Can you share?
I can. So I got, let's see, about 20 different ways that we regularly use hold in the American English. But here is one trivia. One of those is to have and to hold. You think about that as marriage. It's often part of a marriage ceremony to have and to hold. There are 5 movies called To Have and to Hold. 2 of them are American, 2 are British, and 1 is Australian.
Huh.
There are 4 television series or movies called To Have and to Hold. There are 4 novels called To Have and to Hold, and at least 2 songs called To Have and to Hold. So there we go.
Wow. Okay.
Now, I do have a trivia question here.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to ask you if you can guess the longest a person has held their breath. And at the end of the show, I'll give you the answer.
Okay. Wow. Uh.
So there we go. The
Okay.
longest
So let
someone
me.
has ever held their breath. And just a little deviation from our topic here. The I think we mentioned when we talked about to read that the most stolen book from bookstores is the Bible, and the most stolen book from libraries is the Guinness Book of World Records.
Really?
I did not steal that book to get this answer. Just want
Good.
to make sure that's clear.
Okay. I too have a trivia question,
Oh, good. All right.
which is who owns the record for the longest held world record? And
You've been looking at the Guinness Book of World Records as well as
I,
I
I
have.
I ran across it once or twice. Yes.
Okay. All
So
right.
so all of those answers, yours, how the longest held breath. Is this underwater or just holding the breath?
Well, the picture of the fellow was the swimming, looking out of the swimming pool. So I'm thinking it was in the pool,
Okay, great. All right.
which is the
So
best way to really make sure he's not cheating.
exactly. So I will go ahead and tell you that I have two answers for mine
Okay.
because it is a male and a female. Ta-da! So
Okay.
to be equitable here.
Well,
Anyway,
that's nice. Good.
now I'm not sure about you, but when I sat down and smelled the roses, so to speak, as I
Mhm.
was doing my research, I found it interesting that hold is a temporary state. Now,
Oh, okay.
now I kind of knew that, but it didn't dawn on me. The sun didn't come up and say, "Hey, Wayne." But it's typically used as a temporary placeholder.
That makes
Much
sense. That
it
makes
does. It
sense.
it does. Much like we kind of said, we hold a position because you
Mhm.
don't have that position for life.
True.
Like just the CEO of an organization or president or premier of some country,
Mhm.
because you don't hold that for life, because
That's
when you're
true.
gone, for whatever reason, when you leave that office, somebody else comes in and holds that office.
That's true.
And
That's
I'm
true.
thinking, yes. So I found that interesting. And there is no definitive timeline that suggests just how long that temporary status is. Because it could be a matter of a few seconds
Mhm.
to many years, decades even, right?
Yeah, so some of the sample ways we use it in the English language. I knew you were going to go deep. I went shallow, but you went deep. So you hold hands, but it doesn't say how long you're holding hands. You hold the record, but we know that records are broken by new records.
Yes.
You put a hold on your mail, and then you're going to get your mail back. You hold something against someone, but hopefully that's just temporary.
Ooh, yeah. I didn't even think of that. I didn't even
hmm
hold it. Oh, yes. Good.
And you hold your fire, which means don't fire your weapon. But that's temporary because then there's a fire away. You hold the mayonnaise on your sandwich. Now that might be permanent.
Hmm.
Hold your tongue. You don't actually physically hold your tongue with your fingertips, but you hold back saying something that you shouldn't say. Hold your horses. My dad used to say, hold your horses. That means slow down, wait for the rest of us. So
Okay.
anyway, you hold title to something, and people come and go with life, and so the title changes hands. You're right. It's a
Yes.
temporary state,
It's
depending on the way it's used. The length
absolutely.
of temporary is depending on the way it's used.
Yes, and again, it's that temporary time. There's no definitive time, as you said. It's
hmm
it,
hmm
it's not like, oh, okay, 10 minutes and hold is done. No, no, no. It could be a long time.
hmm
Um, my goodness, hold that thought. How many times have I said that when I used to teach for Boston University? When we would have a break just before class would break,
Ah,
and we're in a great discussion, I would say, hold that thought because we got to take 10. And we
so
would
so you
go
were
ahead.
meaning remember that thought so that you can bring it up again after our break, right?
Exact. So we could resume the discussion after the break.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Yes. And sometimes you hear people use that, hold that thought, to say, well, yeah, I like what you're thinking, but let me get this, let me finish my full thought here, and then we'll come
hmm
back to yours.
Good. Yes.
Yes, yes. So again, like you just said earlier, we use the same word or the same thought, same concept, but in two different ways.
hmm
But again, it still says temporary.
Yes. Oh,
And
thank you
I,
for pointing that out.
I found that to be so interesting to me. Now, here's one way that we use it, and I've heard it in many countries, not just ours. And I typically do not like it when I hear this
hmm
because I get annoyed. I think they're asking me a question that elicits a response, and I try to get the response, but they're already gone. And that
Hmm.
is, would you hold, please?
Oh, I did find out the longest time someone was held on the phone. This is
Oh,
so good. Let me find where. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Oh, no, that's not it. Uh, keep talking and I'll find it because this was amazing to me.
okay. I want you to find that. Yes. All right.
Oh, here it
Here's,
is. Here it is. Here it
okay,
is.
go ahead. Go.
An Australian named Andrew Kahn called Qantas Airways. The department was closed, but the recording did not say that the department was closed. So he held on the phone for 15 hours, 40 minutes, and 1 second.
Wow.
Why did he hold? That's a different story, but there you go. And the recording kept saying, "Someone will be with you momentarily."
now, now I'm
Keep holding.
wondering, what year was that? Because I'm wondering if he could push the hold button, again, hold button on his phone,
Oh
where
boy.
he didn't have to hold the
There
phone.
is. I also looked up apps using Hold, and there is a whole range of apps to put on your phone that will hold for you and give you a vibration or a message or something when someone finally answers. So it's through Google Assistant. It monitors the hold you're on so that you can do something else, and then it tells you when a live person answers the phone.
Okay. Now, all right. Um, in business or in
Yes.
school, it doesn't matter. But in some, even in life in general, I mean, just oh my goodness, I found these to be true or to be true. We hold ourselves accountable. We
Mm-hmm.
hold ourselves responsible.
Mm-hmm.
We also hold others accountable,
Yes.
and we hold others responsible. But I think that
Right.
for me in business, in just in the occupations that I've had, I always wanted to hold myself accountable before I
Mhm,
impose that on anyone else.
mhm.
Because if I'm not accountable, then why would I expect them to be?
Good point.
Now, here's a. Are you ready for? Would you like a story? A funny
Of
story?
yes, a funny story, yes.
I would try and make this short as possible.
Okay,
I won't tell you where. I won't tell you when. I'll just tell you the what. All
okay.
right. I was in a school learning a trade, and at this school, there were cafeterias and snack bars that we could go on break or lunch to get our snacks and eat. And this one particular place was just a closed in, and it must have been like a 20 by 20 size, 20-foot by 20-foot room. So pretty large.
Okay.
But it only had vending machines, and it only had tables that you could stand next to. There
Oh,
were no chairs,
okay.
and it was all glass enclosed. So you just kind of go in through and there was a double door. You go into the double door, and the front wall was glass, but the other three walls were not. But the front door was glassed, but there was just vending machines and these tables. I went in once, many times actually, and there was always this other group that was there at the same time. It was about three or four of them, and there was about six or seven of us. And again, that's six or seven, three or four. That's 11 people. It still was not crowded because it's a 20 by 20 room, so or 25 20 by 25. Doesn't matter. Anyway,
Okay.
some another group would come in and would always taunt the group of three or four, and they would just I would think they were just being rude and they were just being obnoxious to this group. And I'm thinking, how in the heck can this other group allow them to be taunted like that? And I kind of said something like, "Hey, why don't you leave those guys alone?"
Mhm.
And they kind of gave me that ugly look and would walk off. But one day we're in there and the same thing happened. In comes this smaller group and they're taunting these guys. And one of the guys in that smaller group of three or four told two of his buddies, "Want you to go outside the door. Do not let anybody in here."
Mm.
he was drinking a Coke. He said to the other guy, "Here, hold this, and don't let anybody out of here." So he went to the front door. So there's two guys on the outside keeping people from coming in. The one guy
Mm-hmm.
holding the Coke and not letting anybody out. And the other guy, he turned those three guys out. Let me tell you, he turned he did ugly things to those guys. And it was funny because I'm thinking, I am not seeing what I am seeing. But this guy did all kinds of stuff and had all kinds of moves and punches. And, there was no blood,
Oh,
but
okay.
there was certainly a lot of pain
Okay.
that three guys derived. But he told his buddy, "Here, hold this and hold the door." So there's hold being held in a different light.
I have a friend who said the worst thing she hears her husband say is, "Hold my beer and watch this." It never ends well. Never ends
Yeah,
well.
I'm seeing an accident coming, right?
Yes, yes. A dumb accident.
Okay. And here's one. Hold on. Like, okay, I'm getting to you. Hold on. Just keep waiting. I'll
Oh.
be right there. Right?
See, and what I heard when you said that was, "Hold on, the bus is gonna pick up speed here, so grab something."
Ah, there you go. Yes. All right. Anyway, at varying times I found myself holding a position of authority
Mhm,
or leadership, and I
mhm,
often felt that I had to hold myself to a higher standard
mhm.
while being in that position. Have you thought that?
Oh, I kind of think that's part of the job, so that because you are a role model, you are a, standard bearer, you want people to, emulate that, that role. So absolutely, I kinda think it's required.
I think so too, and I and I get dismayed as I watch the news and listen to the news all the time,
Mm,
and seeing that people who are in these positions of authority or positions of leadership, they
mhm.
tend to abuse those powers, and I'm thinking,
Yes,
this is not cool. You
yes.
you should be held to, and and I don't enjoy a double standard,
No.
but I always think you should be held to the highest standard that
Yes,
there is because you are
yes,
in that position.
yes.
Um, and I think the person who is on the lowest level in that hierarchy, if you will, should also be held to that standard. But I think when you are, as you just kind of said, as you are the face of the
Mhm,
organization, as you are
mhm,
you should be, you should really hone in on that responsibility, that accountability that you
mhm.
have, and you should really use integrity to be your march word forward.
I personally agree with you.
Mm, I'm not sure. Oh, excuse me. Oh, may I make an announcement
Please.
about, okay, this is going back to our book, my book
Oh,
with
good.
with Jennifer Milius and
Let's
myself.
hear it.
Can
Let's
I
hear
make an
it.
announcement about the book?
I hope you will.
We, Jennifer and I, have narrated the book, and it is now going to be an audio book, and it comes out March 21st.
March 21st. And where can people find it?
People can find that, they'll find it at Audible and
Mhm.
Kobo, Kobo. And right now you could do pre-orders on Kobo. And I think Audible, which is a company of Amazon, I think you can get it on Kobo and Amazon right now for pre-order as well. But anyway, I just wanted to give you that because I hold that thought. It's coming.
Right, 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 right.
Yes. So
Good.
I
Well,
appreciate you.
congratulations, Wayne. That's a lot of work, and I'm very excited for you.
It was hard. It was really hard.
Yeah.
But yes, anyway. So hold your breath. That
How
I
long?
I
I can
can't
tell
wait.
you, there
I
is a world record for holding your breath, as we know.
and you know what, boy, I hope people um realize how dangerous that is, be,
Yes.
because brain death is what they
Not
say, 4 to 6 minutes of not having oxygen to the brain
interesting. Well, you'll
is
be interested to hear this trivia, but they do say don't do this without supervision.
absolutely, golly, yeah. I did something with supervision once that was pretty stupid, but I won't tell you what that was.
Okay. All right. But you're still here alive to talk about it. So
Yes, I
that's
am. Yes,
that's
I am.
good. That's
I,
good.
I I will tell you when we get to that verb. Okay.
Okay. Fair enough. Hold that thought,
I
as we're
will.
so fond of saying.
Yes.
Well, so when I first started thinking about the word hold, the first thing that came to my mind was from the Declaration of Independence, the American Declaration of Independence. And in the second paragraph, it says, "We hold these truths to be self evident
Self-evident.
that
Yes.
all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness."
Yes.
So there's an interesting, we hold these truths. That's not as intended to be so temporary. That's intended to be, we hold fast to these truths, as I see it.
Absolutely. Yes. I like that. Wow. So
The one time it's an exception to the rule.
yes. And at the same time, we tend to hold someone in high esteem as well.
Yes, hopefully that's permanent also.
And it's permanent until we lose trust or faith in them because they
Right.
did something silly or stupid. Yes, and then that goes away. And that doesn't have to be like the president or the premier or the. It could be mom or dad.
That's
It could
true.
it could be your favorite teacher. It could be
Right.
it could be your next door neighbor who just you think, wow, they just can. They continue to hold on to their dreams and they continue to do those things that are just amazing. So it could be anybody, but holding people in high esteem is very, very cool.
Yes.
Now, a lot of moms I've heard have done this, and I know there are some dads who have done this too, but sometimes we put our life on hold to do
Mm.
something else,
Hmm.
right?
Yes.
Yes.
To raise
And
children, for example.
exactly. To raise children, to start a job, to go to school, to,
Right.
yes, do all those things. But yes, raising children came to mind first. Um, again, which is temporary because they say when they're out of school or out at this age, then I will go back and do what I wanted to
Hmm.
do.
Hmm.
Yes. So very,
At
very
the
cool.
same time, when you're putting your children, when you're putting your life on hold, it's interesting that you say that because having young children keeps you fully in the present moment. So really, life is more real in that moment, or it can be, uh, than thinking of it as on hold.
Well
It's interesting.
said.
It's an
Yes.
interesting contradiction there.
Totally agree. And you know what? I also said, because as I said earlier, I think hold is a very good utility word as a verb because it
Hmm.
has so many utilizations throughout our speech, at least in American speech.
Hmm.
And I said, let me go a little bit deeper here and see how many synonyms and antonyms I might find in the thesaurus. And lo and behold, the internet is so cool
Yes.
because it said, oh, Merriam-Webster, their thesaurus says there are at least
Goodness.
424 synonyms and
Wow.
antonyms for hold. And I'm like, okay, see, there it is. Yep.
Well, you know what? Someday we'll have to have a very exciting podcast where we just list those 400
And
synonyms.
24.
I think no one will listen to us then
I
anymore
think,
after that.
I think not.
They will hold us at arm's length.
Exactly. Do you have any quotes for us today?
I do have several quotes.
Oh,
One of them kind of fits what we were talking about a minute ago about holding. Well, it's Jimmy Carter, a former president of the United States, who said we must adjust to changing times and still hold to unchanging principles. And that fits with what you were saying a few minutes ago.
yes.
Helen Keller, who was blind and deaf and was an amazing writer and speaker, said, "Never bend your head, always hold it high, look the world straight in the eye," which is an interesting thing for a blind person. But she did have an amazing reputation for being quite the individual. And I always love Mark Twain because he is a satirist, and sometimes his quirky sense of humor appeals to me. So if you hold a cat by the tail, you learn things you cannot learn any other way. I mean, Are you
Okay.
picturing that and picturing the hospital visit afterwards?
I am. I'm seeing my hand and forearm shredded.
Yes.
There's flesh and blood everywhere.
Yes. Yes. So
And
thank
I'm hearing,
you, Mark Twain.
thank you much. And I'm hearing them.
Yep. 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 You learn, among other things, to never do that again.
Exactly, exactly. And we have places where we hold things like, ooh, my secret drawer or my junk drawer or my safe or my bank where I
Mm-hmm.
hold funds
Mm-hmm.
or safe deposit box where we hold other things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so hold is just everywhere. It's all over the map. I could not focus on one specific trend or theme that I wanted to go
Mm-hmm.
down. I just wanted to bring out as many as I could. And
Mm-hmm.
my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah. I was thinking about the things I have held on to the longest in my life. And I have moved a lot. And every time you move, you let go of a few more things just to lighten the load. And there are a few books, photos. I have held on to old letters. I've held on to the first pair of pierced earrings I ever got.
Wow.
And I've held on to wedding dresses too.
Ooh, two. Okay. Okay.
Both full of good memories. Yeah.
And I am looking at the clock and it is right now
Whoop.
26 minutes.
Okay.
So how about your trivia question?
My answer to my trivia question is a Croatian fellow who wanted to bring attention to the 2020 earthquake damage in Croatia. In setting this record, you are allowed to hyperventilate with pure oxygen for up to 30 minutes before the attempt. He held his breath underwater in 2021 for 24 minutes and 37.36 seconds.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. That's
Amazing.
that's amazing.
Yes.
And mine, who
Yes.
owns the record for the longest held world record? And the male was Jack White, who ran 31 minutes over 10,000 meters, and that stood for 48 years from
Wow.
1863 to 1911.
Wow.
And the female, Frances Kitty, she jumped 11.83 meters in the
Wow.
triple jump, and that record stood for 55 years
Wow.
from December 2nd, 1926 to May 9th, 1981.
Wow.
How
Wow.
about that?
That
Yes.
is impressive.
I don't know, 26 minutes underwater. I think that's going to
24
take the cake.
minutes. Right,
24 minutes,
right,
that's
right,
going to
right,
take the
right, right.
cake.
I'm
That
not
holds.
going to compete for that record.
Yeah, no, I'm not even going to try.
Good. Good.
No. But anyway, Sheila, it's 27:30. Would you take us home,
Okay. I
please?
just have one other quote I want to say as we part ways here, and that is hold on tight to the ones you love. There's nothing more precious than the moment here and now.
Oh, yes. Exactly. And it goes so fast.
Does. Yes.
It does. Thanks everyone for listening. Thank you, Sheila.
Thank you, Wayne. Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.